Yo, yo, you can see it. Yo, it's me, it's the SCFTT, and welcome back to Exploring the Zack Snyder films, and we are looking at 300 today, in this video at least. And one thing I want to say about this movie is, stylistically, this is probably where Zack Snyder got to be. You know, he had Dawn of the Dead, and if you watched Dawn of the Dead, and if you didn't know that Zack Snyder directed, you wouldn't know until the end credits were directed by Zack Snyder. Here, 300 is really where Zack Snyder started his, sort of the way he does films. And this is very Zack Snyder film. Now, I only seen the sequel to this. I never seen this one. So I was concerned. And, I was concerned I wasn't going to like it. But I really did kind of enjoy this movie. And it kind of went fast. And I'm sitting here watching it. And 45 minutes have already passed. And I'm like, really? It seems like we just started, And stylistically, this is probably the most Zack Snyder of the Zack Snyder film so far. It's the first big one he really went. Because you can tell there's a slow motion. And just the way that things are done, and the way how it's kind of darkened in the sky, and the whole cinematography. I remember when I saw the trailer for this film, I wasn't sure about it. I was just like, I don't know if I like the look of it. Watching it now, it's great. I don't mind it. So what are my positives? My positives are the actors. Gerard Butler is giving his all here. Even Lena Headey, or how you pronounce her name, she's great. You got Rodrigo Santoro as Xerxes, he's great. You got Friar Carl from Van Helsing, and he's the one-eyed dude in this, and he's the one telling the story, and he's great, because at the end he gets this great monologue at the end, where he's now leading this, and spoiler alert if you don't know, Leonidas, played by Jerry Butler, dies in this. He and his 300 that he brings, they die. So now Friar Carl, this is what I'm going to keep calling him, because I don't know his name in this, but Friar Carl is going with this, like 30,000 I think he's got. And, and he does this big old speech, and it shows, but it's obviously computer generated, and that's going to probably be my negatives, the CGI use, but that whole speech that he does is pretty cool. And there's the scene where Leonidas dies, and he says, "My queen, my love, my life," and he dies. He dies. He uses that spear, and he tries to get Xerxes, and only catches him on the mouth. Oh, missed him by that much. But I knew he wasn't going to die because he's in the second one. So he doesn't kill him. He's in the second one. I remember that because I've seen the second one. But yeah, and just the overall tone of this film is a positive. I love the way it's done. It's very serious. There's minimal comedy, if any. I did keep thinking back to Meet the Spartans, though, especially when he sends Friar Carl back. And I remember Meet the Spartans, how the guy had both of his eyes popped out, so he got lost. But it's easy to recall, especially when he kicks the guy in. And I recall Britney Spears, but you get that line, that classic line, "This is Sparta." Great, absolutely great. And I do like the cinematography. As weird as it is, I like the way it looks. Some stuff is dodgy, which I'll get to in my negatives. I don't have very many negatives in this. I like the heroes. I like the villains. I like the way everything is set up. I like most of the characters. This movie is great, and it balances everything very well. On the negative side of things, subplot in which the queen has to sleep with someone, being forced to sleep with someone to fuck them in order to get their army support for her husband. I don't think that was necessary. And the CGI. There's a couple shots when and I know you can't do it any other way, because There's no way to do it. There's millions of arrows shooting out towards them. And it's not very good CGI. It's 2006 CGI. Not so good. And the first time they show it, where they cover themselves, and then, and a bunch of the arrows come in, and it's like, oh, no, that looks terrible. And they do it at the end too when they kill Leonidas. Also, during this battle, it's very obvious there's choreography to what the Spartans are doing. You know, they're doing stab, 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 shield. Hold the shield. Stab, 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 shield. I feel like the Persians could catch on to that. It's so, you know, and I know it's what they had to do so they can do the scene. Maybe it's not supposed to be as obvious during this setting, but like it wouldn't be as obvious, and it was just for the actors. But I don't know. And one more thing, it's a bit of a nitpick. Michael Fassbender is in this movie. He's wearing a terrible wig in half of his scenes in the film. When his hair is over his head like this, it looks terrible. When he has it back, however, and it's kind of going behind his ears, that's fine. So half of the scenes he's in, he looks fine. The other half, he looks terrible with the wig or whatever they had on him. If it's real hair, I don't know. But it looks terrible. All in all, I really enjoyed this film. And the good way outweighs the bad in this. Most of them are nitpicks. I think the biggest thing for me is the subplot with her fucking a dude to get support for her husband, and that doesn't even end up doing anything. I think Xerxes as a villain is great. I like how, even though Gerard Butler is taller than Rodrigo Santoro, they have the shot where he towers over Gerard Butler. I like that shot. I like a lot of the shots that Zack Snyder does in this film. The slow motion, the movements. It's all very stylistic. It's all very Zack Snyder. I think this is probably one of his best films. So, yeah, I'm having to give it a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but I enjoy it. And it gets 9 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on 300? Let me know in a comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.